Now let us classify the matrices into some categories in order to generate some special properties for each matrix. The first category is known as sparse matrix. Now what is a sparse matrix basically? In a sparse matrix, most of the elements are 0. Now the benefit of a sparse matrix is, since most of the elements are 0, that is, you need less storage. Okay, that is the benefit of a sparse matrix. Because we will only store non-zero elements. That is known as sparse matrix. One common application of a sparse matrix is in electrical engineering, in power system. Okay, there we come across sparse matrices, which are used for power system analysis. Next categorization we do for the square matrix. Now what is a square matrix? A square matrix is the one in which the number of rows is equals to number of column. Okay, m is equals to n. That is, suppose I give you a 3x3 matrix or 2x2 matrix. Such matrices will be known as square matrix. Because why it is known as square matrix? If you see the square, its length is equals to breadth, which is equals to side A. So similarly here the length corresponds to the number of rows, which is m, and the breadth corresponds to the number of column, which is n. That is why it is known as a square matrix. Now in square matrix we define a diagonal elements. That is, the diagonal elements are those in which I is equals to j. That is, they are represented by aii. These are the diagonal elements. Like if I take an example, suppose this is a matrix. We have elements 3, 5, 7, 0, 1, 2, 2, 1, 5. So this is a 3x3 matrix. This is a square matrix. Why? Because we have 3 rows and 3 columns. So these are known as diagonal elements. Why? It is represented by aii. Why? Because here this element corresponds to a11 and this element corresponds to a22 and this element corresponds to a33. So these are known as the diagonal elements of square matrix. Is it fine? Because whenever you take a square, this will represent a diagonal. So these are the diagonal elements. Remember, for diagonal elements, I is equals to j. And if I is not equal to j, then those elements are called off-diagonal elements. That is the element which do not lie on the diagonal of a square matrices. Is it fine? Next we have a square submatrix. We can find out the submatrices of a square matrix, like I will show you how. Submatrix means a matrix whose elements are a part of original matrix, but its order is less than or equal to the original matrix. Like if I give you a matrix whose elements are 168, 235 and 129. Now here if we consider another matrix out of this, that is 1623, 1623. So this is a submatrix, and this is also a square submatrix. Why? Its order is 2 cross 2. Similarly, if you take this matrix, which is 6835, 6835, this is also a submatrix. In the same way, if you take this one, 3529, 3529, this is also a submatrix. And all are square submatrix whose orders are 2 cross 2. And again, in the same way, 2312, 2312, this is also a submatrix. Now in this submatrices, we define something known as principal submatrix. Principal submatrix is the matrix whose diagonal elements are same as the original submatrix. Like if you see in the first matrix, here the diagonal elements are 1 and 3, which are the diagonal elements of the original matrix 1 and 3. So this submatrix is principal submatrix. In the second matrix, the diagonal elements are 6 and 5, but in the original matrix 6 and 5 are not the diagonal elements. Hence this is not the principal submatrix. In third matrix, you will see 3 and 9 are the diagonal elements. Here also 3 and 9 are the diagonal elements of the original matrix. Hence this matrix is a principal submatrix. And in the last matrix, diagonal elements are 2 and 2. But 2 and 2 are not the diagonal elements of original matrix. Hence this matrix is not principal submatrix. So this is how we define submatrices in any square matrix. Okay. The next classification we do is known as a diagonal matrix. Now diagonal matrix is a special case of square matrix. That is, first of all, it must be a square matrix. Then all the elements will be equal to 0. That is, Aij is equal to 0 for I is not equal to j. The element where I is not equal to j are known as off-diagonal elements. That is, all off-diagonal elements must be 0. That is, only diagonal elements are non-zero. Okay. The thing is that diagonal elements may or may not be 0, but all cannot be 0. At least one of the diagonal elements must be non-zero. Other can be 0. Now let us take a matrix something like this: 8 0 0 0 5 0 0 0 0. This matrix is a diagonal matrix. Its diagonal elements are non-zero. Though one of the diagonal elements is 0, but all are not 0. Even if any of the diagonal elements is non-zero, it will be classified as diagonal matrix. The way to represent a diagonal matrix in terms of its diagonal elements, that is, I will write diagonal 8 5 0. I can write this matrix also as diagonal 8 5 0. Okay? It is by default understood that rest of the element which is not lie along the diagonal are 0. Only diagonal elements are non-zero. Now there are some interesting properties about the diagonal matrix by which you can directly calculate any result. What are those properties? The first is you can add any two diagonal matrix. Let us say we have a one matrix diagonal ABC plus second matrix diagonal XYZ. Okay? These are the respective diagonal elements and rest of the elements are 0. Then the addition of these two will result another diagonal matrix, that is diagonal A plus X, B plus Y, C plus Z. Okay? Which is sum of the diagonal elements. That is, you can directly add any diagonal matrices. Now this is not that much interesting property because even in a non-diagonal matrix, the corresponding elements will be directly added. So this is nothing new. But what is new is when you multiply two such matrices. That is, suppose we have matrix 1 diagonal ABC. When multiplied with diagonal XYZ, what you will get is diagonal A into X, B into Y, C into Z. So we are getting the product of corresponding diagonal elements. Now this is interesting property because matrix multiplication in itself is not that simple. You have to multiply each row with every column of the other matrix. So it is time consuming and it is calculation intensive. The next interesting property is inverse of diagonal ABC. Now the inverse of diagonal ABC will be equal to another diagonal matrix with the elements reciprocal of the original matrix. Okay? That is, you will get 1 by A, 1 by B, 1 by C. Just the reciprocal of the original matrix. Now this is also interesting because calculating the inverse of a matrix is quite difficult. Similarly, if you raise to the power n, that is diagonal ABC raised to the power n, you will get diagonal A raised to the power n, B raised to the power n, C raised to the power n. Okay, the resultant matrix will also be a diagonal matrix. Okay. Now we will study all these operations later on, that is addition, multiplication, inverse of a matrix. But right now I am directly writing. Okay. Later we will study all this operation in very detail. Similarly, when we talk about the eigenvalues of a diagonal matrix, that is eigenvalue of diagonal ABC is equals to simply the diagonal elements A, B and C. That is, the diagonal elements themselves are the eigenvalues. What about the determinants? Now the determinants of diagonal ABC is equals to A into B into C. That is, determinant is nothing but the product of the diagonal element in case of a diagonal matrix. So these are some of the properties by which you can simplify your calculation whenever you are dealing with a diagonal matrix. That is why in many cases, what I intend to do is, I intend to convert any matrix into a diagonal matrix because then performing any operation is pretty much simple as compared to non-diagonal matrix.